How about the LA Kings?
I love my pick for the LA
Give it to
Kings. Steven Stamkos.
Oh, yes. Western Conference dream acquisitions. We're talking ranting into Hurricanes level of how'd that happen? It's got to be a 30% chance of being somewhat plausible. And if the other people object, they can object, or they can fudge the numbers because they just like the idea of that going down.
Mm-hmm.
How about the Winnipeg Jets getting Dylan Cousins?
All right. Yeah. I mean, I have a player that fits a similar profile, just way older. Ryan O'Reilly. Ryan O'Reilly to the Winnipeg Jets would be like an awesome fit.
I like that. As if I'm coming at this from like a pro Jets perspective, I like that way more. Is Dylan Cousins that good? Like
I mean, I think
he's gonna be.
He's got the potential to be that good.
Yeah, but I think when you're the Winnipeg Jets, you're not really interested in potential right now. I would much rather have a Ryan O'Reilly and try and win a Stanley Cup this year.
But famously, Dylan Cousins is locked up, and the Jets, I know that they were able with Scheifele and Hellebuck to lock those guys down. There were a lot of questions about, can you get guys and can you keep guys? I don't know if you want to have like an imprisoned Dylan Cousins if he doesn't want to be there.
I mean, he is from the middle of fucking nowhere, Canada. So maybe he wouldn't mind it too much.
Maybe imprisoning Dylan Cousins. That's the move. You brought up Ryan O'Reilly. How did I not throw that out there when we were talking about the Blue Jackets?
Ryan O'Reilly?
Yeah.
I thought about it.
They're
pretty good.
No visor.
They're pretty good down the middle. Like, obviously, Monahan makes him a much worse team, but
when he's
not there, Monahan's absence makes them a much worse team.
He's been through a lot.
O'Reilly's got a little bit of term, so like that puts you in a weird spot when you're a fully healthy team. Mm-hmm. So like I like it a bit more for Winnipeg.
Okay. Dallas Stars.
Oh, yeah. I think we got to be going in the same direction here, right?
Say it for me.
Seth Jones.
Yeah, Seth Jones to the Dallas Stars. Unbelievable. Shout out Ben from Genius Jackets. He swooped up my Seth Jones jersey. It will be here tomorrow. Absolutely amazing. Minute-eating right shot defenseman on the Stars. They didn't really replace Tanev. They've goofed around with some of the options they've tried. Give me Seth Jones.
Yeah.
And get him back in the playoffs.
I mean, especially if Heiskanen's missing, like they gotta really fix that defense if Heiskanen is absent. And like you're gonna have a little bit of flexibility if he's got to go on LTIR, God forbid. I'm just saying. Could work.
Let's get to a name who really, I think when this idea for this segment was cooked up, was gonna be the star of it, or was like this player was made for this conversation. To the Minnesota Wild, I give Mitch Marner. Another top player who's on a contender in the last year of his deal. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna sign him? Are they gonna lose him for nothing? Give the Wild another top six forward so people can stop pretending that Kirill Kaprizov is the only good player in the NHL because he plays on a team without a lot of good forwards. Give him Mitch Marner. And I think that Mitch Marner, I don't know, it's a very passionate fan base, but we've all been like, get that guy out of Toronto. Yeah.
First of all, I have Mitch Marner going to a different location.
Okay.
I'd like to share that now.
Yeah, we haven't done any repeats. I don't know if we made a rule of can we do repeats, but it's cool that we haven't done them.
I mean, for me, there's going to be a repeat once we get to a certain
Colorado. We're doing Sid till like half the teams.
Yeah. I mean, that wasn't the team I was talking about. That's the player I'm talking about, though.
How about Mitch Marner to the Vegas Golden Knights?
I've got. I mean,
the 30% threshold does not exist for the Vegas Golden Knights.
True, very true. Oh, we could. So I have a pretty. I'll jump ahead to the Golden Knights. I had them getting Tucky back.
I like that. I mean, one of the original misfits.
But that doesn't lean into the fact that the Golden Knights are allowed to circumvent the 30% rule.
That's why, I mean, we mentioned it on the show prior. Sidney Crosby to the Vegas Golden Knights. Rocks my socks off.
That would be so funny.
Rocks my socks off.
That would be the best jersey in the world.
Oh, my God.
We would get 8 Sidney Crosby
Think
Vegas
about that
Golden Knights
team down the
jerseys.
middle. Just Jack Eichel and Sidney Crosby on the same team.
Yes.
That rocks.
For the Minnesota Wild, this is a repeat. I have Brock Besser because it's it's realistic, it makes sense, and it's the hometown guy.
It does the same sort of thing that Marner does too, which like give them somebody who can provide offense.
I also have for the Minnesota Wild a doctor. Please get them a doctor.
It's little Dr. Dre featuring
I Need a Doctor.
I Need a Doctor.
Oh, Eminem, right? Or no?
Eminem,
Yeah.
He at the end of that song
and Skylar Gray.
Yeah, that Pete's heard me complain about this. That song has homophobia way later than rap was doing homophobia. Dr. Dre has a verse at the end where he's like, when the chips were down, you just laughed at us. Now you're going to feel the wrath of aftermath. F word. And it was like,
that's crazy.
That's like, Dre, I know that like rapping is always kind of new to you, but brother, no. My buddy. That's that song. Oilers. I still have the Carlo Trent Frederick package. I think that I saw our guy Tyler Yaremchuk talking about this, just salivating at the idea of what if Trent Frederick were on a line with Corey Perry. That'd be your favorite line in hockey. It would just be like one Kiefer Sherwood away from being your favorite line in
pretty
hockey.
much. I have Brandon Carlo, and I do love that Brandon Carlo is like. It seems like it's the Oilers, like White Whale. It's like that is their dream scenario, which is so funny to me. But it makes sense because he's a perfect fit for what they need.
It was so long ago, but 2019 playoffs, Pete, do you remember the first two rounds of that where I want to say it was Carlo, I think, was like the anti-Marner, where he just like took him out of that series. And I know that sometimes it's easy to take Mitch Marner out of series. But then in the second round, he was awesome against Panarin. And he really, in a postseason 5-6 years ago at this point, was just a dream postseason defenseman. I don't know if that's what he would still be now. He has definitely had his ups and downs, but in a season in which Darnell Nurse is one of the better defensemen in the NHL, Brandon Carlo doesn't need to carry that pair. You would be very, very well positioned if you had Brandon Carlo on your second pair. So I don't know if Boston would do that, but it only needs to be 30% plausible. How about the LA Kings?
I love my pick for the LA Kings. Steven Stamkos.
Oh, yes.
Steven Stamkos, the LA Kings.
That sounds fun.
Would be so fun.
And you'd say
kind of fits their timeline too. They're old as shit. May as well just go in, get a guy who can hammer home goals for you.
You could say, well, why would the Kings could have just signed him in the offseason? Why wouldn't they have just given him that contract? Look, after you survived giving away PLD without having to retain any of that money, whatever, take on a contract that you weren't going to do a few months ago. And I don't know. I take the Kings right now, who are on pace to play the Golden Knights in the first round. Like, they need something. So beef up offensively. And I'm not saying that Steven Stamkos is like a beefy guy, but be a more potent offensive team. I love that. How about the Colorado Avalanche? Anybody other than, obviously, Sidney Crosby? I had Brad Marchand to them because I was trying to do no repeats.
I do have Sidney Crosby there, but I also have, I know that's a repeat, but I have a repeat of a realistic repeat here.
Okay.
And that's not Sidney Crosby. What if you just did Ryan O'Reilly straight up for Casey Middlestat?
Straight up?
Or like that's the bones of it.
Oh, okay, yeah. I was going to say Middlestat is a real lot to give up, although Middlestat's not really working out there.
They don't like him.
Yeah.
And like if you're Colorado and you think that you've got a chance this year to win a cup, or I guess like over the next couple of years, their contracts run the same. You save money by trading Middlestat, and like he's free up over $1 million.
You're freeing up so much money then, because you've already freed up money by doing the Rantanen thing. Oh, maybe you can go after Rantanen in free agency now.
That's right.
If you do that. Oh, that would be such a good long con. How have none of us thought about this? What if they just do what the Baltimore Orioles did in 2003 with Sidney Ponson? I know that's a random pull, but shut up. They traded Sidney Ponson to the Giants at the trade deadline. Soon as free agency starts, hey, Sidney Ponson, we're interested in your services. Want to come back? Yeah, absolutely. The Boston Red Sox tried to do it with John Lester, but they were cheap. Ooh, Rantanen to the Avalanche in free agency. People forget.
And you get a Ryan O'Reilly reunion in Colorado.
Yeah. People forget there's history between those two. People forget there is history between Ryan O'Reilly and the Colorado Avalanche. How about the Calgary Flames? Who are you giving to the Calgary Flames? Yeah, I
didn't do that one.
Yeah, I didn't do that one either. And lastly, how about, this is a fun one, and I didn't do this one, the Vancouver Canucks.
I don't care.
Yeah, I didn't do that one.
We all silly like the mayor.